All right, hello everybody, and welcome again. For those of you that uh, didn't see that amazing, well, no one saw that because I wasn't live. I'm using new tools this week, and I'm flying by the seat of my pants here. And this is what we're doing this week, and it is what it is, but it is amazing. So we are so happy that you guys are here this week to join us on this week's episode of Mouse Minds here. Of course, we have our amazing host with us here, Luella. I think we have. Go ahead and say hi, Luella.
Hi, I'm in my car, but I'm here.
And her mic is infinitely better. We have solved
Yes.
the static issue, so that is a good thing. But we are here live for you on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. And I think we have an interesting topic this week that we want to discuss. Well, it's just me and Luella here. I thought we would do sort of an East versus West, comparing some of the attractions, and then maybe just comparing the parks on the East Coast and the West Coast to an extent here, because there's only so much that you can compare between the two, but there is some amazing things to talk about there. So we are so glad that you guys are joining us this week. As always, you can catch us every Friday night, or every Tuesday night, excuse me, on YouTube, Twitch, or Facebook here. And with this too, you can also catch us every Friday at 5 on your favorite podcasting platform, whether that be Apple Podcasts or Spotify, whatever that is. You can find us on there. So we're going to get started with this week. Now, I wanted to kind of do like a back and forth here with some of the attractions here. Now, this is great because we have Luella here. She can, it's been a while since I've been out to Disneyland, but there are some amazing attractions out there that we also have out here, such as things like Pirates of the Caribbean, the Haunted Mansion, Small World, Tiana's Bayou Adventure, Big Thunder Mountain, Space Mountain. So we can kind of give like our East versus West take on those attractions here. I think that'll be great here. And I think, we got to start here. I think this is the one that is probably, I wouldn't say the biggest difference, but it has the, I guess it would be a bigger difference, and that would be Pirates of the Caribbean. Now, if you have ridden Pirates of the Caribbean in at Disney World, excuse me, it's a great attraction, one of the best attractions in the park inside Magic Kingdom. But what stands out at the Disneyland version is that it is actually a lot longer, and there's basically like an added scene to that attraction that you do not have at Disney World. You kind of go right into the ride and get through it and go from there, whereas in Disneyland you have the longer sort of scene that goes right past the Blue Bayou restaurant, which I still remember the first time I rode that, and I was like, oh, there's a restaurant there. That's kind of fun. So Luella, I'll start with you, and no pressure to pick the right coast because we know what that is. But what is your preference? What is your favorite? I think I know what your answer is going to be, but I might be surprised here. So let me know.
Well, I think what maybe some people forget is when the Magic Kingdom opened, when Walt Disney World opened, the Pirates ride wasn't there. And I think there was a lot of hoopla about why isn't that ride there. And I think initially they didn't add it there, probably because they felt that they were closer to the Caribbean and it wasn't necessary, but people loved it at Disneyland. And so they kind of had to do a quick build of it. And so, which is why I think there's some things missing from the Walt Disney World, the Magic Kingdom version. And I have to say that when when I wrote it for the first time, it did feel that something was missing. And I think for all the space that you have there, I feel like they could have done that extra room.
Yeah.
But I think they were rushed to have to get that ride up and running because so many people wanted it. But of course, they did try to do a lot of things similar, and but there's that really added touch with the extra room and the extra drop. So of course, I love our version. I feel like the Magic Kingdom version is missing something. It's missing that extra drop. But if you've never been on the Disneyland version, you don't miss it. You don't know it, so you're fine with it.
That's true. That's true. I was definitely shocked, but I will say that that Bayou scene, I don't think it fits for me. It just feels like an added scene that was added, but it doesn't have anything to do with the rest of the ride. It's fun, but like I feel like the banjo music and all that stuff, I just feel like that's not like on theme with Pirates of the Caribbean, so it doesn't add much, but it's like still a cool scene to go through.
Well, you have to remember where the ride is located. It's located it's a different place. It's where it's located. And so you're in one world and then you need to get to the next world. I mean, you're in one realm getting to the next realm. So the banjo scene, everything, it fits where you start the ride.
True. Very true.
We're in New Orleans Square. That's where we're starting. So, and then you have to take you out of New Orleans Square. And so that's why when you start, you see Blue Bayou, because that's where you are. You're in New Orleans Square, and then now we're going to. It's like Act 1 and Act 2 of a show, and I think that's exactly what was the difference with when Disneyland was created. And you also have to remember this ride. Disneyland is born in 1950s, so so it was really the first of its kind, and it was really set up as if you're watching a movie in different acts, and that's in every act you're going to the next act, and so that's where it fits. We're not starting off in the Caribbean. We're not. We're starting off in New Orleans Square, and now we're going to take you to another realm.
Which I've never really thought of it from that aspect of it being something to where, you're transforming from one to another. But that does make a lot of sense when you think about it, going from New Orleans Square to that area. So that actually makes a lot of sense to have that transition there, and then of course you have the drop that kind of starts the ride. So that's like pushing you into that other realm, the Pirates realm. And I'm trying to think of, at the Disney World version, what you have from the start is sort of, I guess you do have the Pirates thing. I would think of it, because you have that like beach scene, like the island scene, but there's also like the skeleton there and all that. So I guess that would still be part of Pirates. Or could it be just like a Caribbean scene and you go into the whole craziness that is Pirates? I've never really thought about that.
You're in it's an Adventureland, correct? Mm-hmm. You're starting off in Adventureland, whereas, the Disneyland Pirates of the Caribbean is in the French Quarter. So I think that the Imagineers were very thoughtful to try to transfer you to a different location and not just boom, because even the outside facade of the Disneyland Pirates, it looks like the French Quarters. Yeah. So,
and that's another thing too. The queue for the Disney World version is more themed towards a Spanish port in the Caribbean, where that is something that is not really a big thing with Pirates at Disneyland. So that is true, because you are in that area as well. So that makes a lot of sense. So I will personally say, I think that I have to go with Disneyland on this because I enjoy Blue Bayou as a restaurant because of that, where you're at. I think that's cool that that's a part of the attraction itself. That's so I think just because of that little extra, I would choose the Disneyland version. But that's not to say that I don't like the Walt Disney World. It's very close because I grew up going to the Walt Disney World version, but I can see why the Disneyland version to me would be a little bit better just because of that extra ride that you get there. So I could see that. Now, here's another one that I was thinking about too. This one is kind of an easy one for me, and I think that would be the railroads, the Disneyland Railroad versus the Walt Disney World Railroad. And I think there's really no contest here because between the two, having the dioramas and the dinosaur scene just makes the Disneyland version like infinitely better. Because as beautiful as it is, well, as it was, I should say, because we're now losing Rivers of America at Disney World, but as beautiful as it is was to go through that scene and see all that and see some of the things that you see out there, the dioramas and the dinosaurs and everything else, that it's just so awesome. And there's so many.
And I feel that a lot of people miss out on that. I think people skip the dinosaur dinosaur part because they use the train, which is what it's for, as a vehicle to get you from one land to the other land. But they'll step out. If you don't know, you'll step out because it's not really listed anywhere,
No, it's not.
And so people get surprised. And you have to remember that portion of that diorama came from the World's Fair. That was all part that was
about that. Yeah,
part from the 63, 64 World's Fair. And so they added that. And so I think when I rode the train, I did the full loop and I'm like, where's the dinosaurs? But it wasn't part of the original part of the land when they did the trains too. That was added. And it's just and they keep enhancing it. So they added the lights. And so I think it's a nice, I think it's the closest thing to what reminds me of Epcot, like an educational part, right? Yeah. This is the Grand Canyon and this is how it was before. It's very educational and really takes you back to, that 1963 World's Fair. I love that part. Yeah, that's why the train is facing inwards. There's one train that's actually, and my son calls it the Walt Disney World train because it's facing forward. And I don't want to go on that because when you reach the part where it's the dinosaurs, you're like looking to your side.
Yeah.
But that's why the majority of the trains are facing inward so that you can see that portion clearly.
And side note with the trains too, this is just a recent side note. If you are going to Magic Kingdom at Disney World, they are, I think they still are, because of the construction that's going on, they are running the trains from Main Street to Storybook Circus. So they're actually running the train in reverse. So if you ride the train, and I remember because me and my friends were on Main Street and we saw the train going backwards, and of course these are all my friends, we immediately were like, oh my god, and ran right up the stairs. But it is such a cool experience because it's like you never get to go on the train in reverse, and of course the seats are facing backwards, like half the seats are facing backwards, so just riding and seeing that in reverse is actually really cool. So if you're in Magic Kingdom soon, or you're going soon, ride the train because they are running a cool route right now, from Main Street to Storybook, and then from Storybook back to Main Street. So, and it is fantastic. But you're right, the dioramas and all that make that so much. There's so many TikToks that I've seen of people comparing the two, and they always show Disneyland just blowing it out of the water. And honestly, that is very true. I remember the first time I saw that, I was not expecting that. I had been told that with the person I was with, that the train is awesome and I'm gonna see something cool. And then we did the full loop, and I was like, oh my god! I was like, why don't we have this? Where was this for us? Like, we have all this empty space. Like, we could have this, but we don't. So
like I
yeah,
said,
that is
it was taken from
yeah.
63, 64 World's Fair. So
Now I will say the next I'll throw another one here out. So I think this is pretty much a no-brainer for me as far as which one I like better, but we have to talk about Small World, because that is another one. I think let me hear what you think. Which one is, I think I know what your favorite is, but let me hear what you think.
Well, the facade, you don't even have to ride Small World. The facade is very iconic.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's gorgeous, it's beautiful, and because it's all white now, they do shows on it. What do you call it? Where they did the projection.
The light projection, yes. I saw Mickey's what did I see on there? Mickey's Mixed Magic.
A little bit better. Can you hear me?
Oh, I can't hear you anymore.
Oh my goodness. Am I still on? Hello?
Yeah, your microphone is cutting in and out. What did I tell that?
Hello.
We're gonna fix her. She'll be right back. She's having technical issues. But I know what she's talking about with the projection. I saw the Mickey's Mix Magic. I don't remember the name of the show. Mickey's Mix Bingo. I don't remember the name of the show, but I saw that projected onto the Small World facade, and that was really cool. But the Small World facade in general.
I'm so sorry.
No, you're perfectly fine.
Okay.
But the Small World outside, that whole facade, the Mary Blair just gloriousness that we get at that entrance there is so incredible. And then having the boats actually come outside is really cool too.
Yeah, and it's very similar to what, Small World was one of the attractions at the World's Fair as well. So that's very similar to, I wasn't around, but pictures I've seen, that was how the layout was similar to the World's Fair. So I think that is really one of my favorite rides. I also enjoy it at Walt Disney World, but you also don't have, and people, not everyone's a big fan of it, but I love the Mary Blair version of the Disney characters. I love that incorporated onto the ride. There was a lot of hoopla before. A lot of people did not want that, but I think it was very tastefully done. And they just added Coco in the Mexico scene, which I love. So I think those are really added characters that makes it refreshing. And our ride changes in Christmas time. So that's a fun thing too. There's an overlay.
That's true. We don't get that over here.
Yeah. So, the song can be annoying, but I love the song. I love the Sherman Brothers, and I love everything about that ride.
Yeah. So I was at one of the D23 weekends, the Destination D23, and we were honored. I mean, just honored to get a concert from Richard Sherman, and which was one of the greatest experiences I'll ever have. I mean, that was to me, that was like hearing a Beatle live on stage.
Oh yeah,
that was incredible. But the best part of the whole thing was he stood up before he played Small World, and he apologized to the whole crowd for creating that song. And he said, I did not know it would be on repeat I did not realize how it would sound being on repeat all the time and hearing it over and over again. And of course, everyone was like, you don't have to apologize. This is one of the greatest songs of all time. But it was still really awesome hearing him say that. And that was an incredible concert, because I'm going on a tangent here, but I'll just tell you guys what happened. You can look this up online and find videos of it on YouTube, but that was the concert where Richard Sherman sang Imagination or the Imagination song, and the original Dreamfinder and the original Figment came out on stage and sang it with him. And that to this day is one of the greatest concerts I've ever seen. It was, I mean, even the Disney people on stage, the Imagineers, the Disney historians, everyone that was a part of that, sitting on stage watching that, was just in tears hearing him play these songs. I mean, the most iconic music ever for Disney that has been produced, in my opinion, over the years. And to hear that live by the person who created all of it, and and played this music for Walt, played all these songs. Walt loved hearing them play. What was it? Walt's favorite song was, he always asked him to play, was it Tuppence? I think it was Tuppence, right?
Feed the Birds.
Feed the Birds. Yeah, Feed the Birds. Sorry. I always say Tuppence. I don't know why I say that. Feed the Birds. So hearing him play Feed the Birds was actually pretty amazing, because I was just thinking, this is what, anytime Walt wanted to pick me up, this is what he wanted to hear. And to hear him actually play that was pretty awesome. So
yeah, that's great. That's great.
So Small World, definitely better on the West Coast for me as well. Of course, you get the holiday overlay, and then of course you have the boats. I just, for some reason, I like the boats. I just like the whole theming, the whole outdoor Mary Blair scene. I think it all just looks fantastic. So I will give Disneyland props on that one, because it is pretty amazing. Now, we'll move on to this. I'm going to go to this next one here. So let's talk about Space Mountain. Now, I love Space Mountain. It's one of my favorite attractions. I will say, though, at least on the west or on the East Coast here at Disney World, the older I get, the more I don't like it as much, because it's very hard to get in and out of those rockets. Because you basically have to fall in, and then you do not get out. But it is those Space Mountain is just iconic, and riding that here, it reminds me a lot of the Matterhorn, in a sense that it feels just as chaotic. The same.
Yeah.
Everyone says when you ride the Matterhorn, it's like a free chiropractic adjustment, which that is honestly a fair assessment, I would say. The few times that I've ridden the Matterhorn, I did not come out of there without a hurt back. But I feel like the Space Mountain version here has held on to that. But I do respect the Disneyland version, because they have 2-seater rows in the cars. So and then of course Hyperspace Mountain, things like that. So there are parts of the Disney, it's really close for me, but I have to go with, I think, Disney World. But there are parts of the Disneyland version that I like better too.
Well, I think that the music with the speakers right by the ears just changes the ride. So that when that was added, and I don't even want to say the name right, but it's a very big composer who did the music, the original music.
Michael
I can't say it. Starts with G.
Yeah, Giacchino.
Giacchino, yeah. That is that original version, because they will do overlays and put other music, but to have the music straight there right by the ears, when they change it to Hyperspace Mountain, and you can hear it's right here. And if you don't know, it's a hidden Mickey. It looks like a hidden Mickey.
Oh, that's true. I didn't even think about that.
Because there's a speaker here. I think that the Walt Disney World version is similar to, like you said, to Matterhorn. So there's a lot of surprising twists and turns.
Yeah.
But
And it's
you don't
very
have the
bumpy.
yeah, and you don't have the music, and it just takes it to a different element. And so, um, and of course you're sitting up a little bit, so it's a bit
Yeah.
better bang your back.
But
But
you also have that scene in the Disneyland version. I'm trying to remember how it goes, where your ride your ride or your coaster car almost stops, and there's like a speed tunnel. Am I
yeah,
remembering that correctly? There's like a
I'm
speed tunnel,
not. Yeah,
like
I'm not.
like the
I'm
and
not
it
quite
like
sure. Yeah,
I'm
but I
trying to
just
think.
feel that for me, it's because of the music.
Yeah,
It's because of that music by the great composer that makes it the element that I enjoy. But when I rode Walt Disney World Space Mountain, it was exciting because I just didn't know left, right, up, down where we were doing.
yeah.
It could have flipped and I wouldn't have known. It was so exciting. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there is the warp speed scene.
Oh
That's what
yeah.
I'm thinking of.
Oh yeah, that start. Yeah.
Yeah. The warp speed scene is what always gets me. It used to be a speed tunnel.
Mm.
And then they changed it when they did the 2005 refurbishment, and then it became the warp speed scene with the projection mapping and everything like that. So, but that is a really cool scene because it almost feels like the coaster stops, and then like you see that happen above you. So that to me is also a really cool effect that they have in that attraction. But I still think I go with Disney World just because I do like the older like aero coasters and things like that, which is what that is. So I like that it's bumpy. I like that it's rough. I like being jerked around. It's I mean, as crazy as it sounds, it's like it just connects you to the past. So that's cool. And it is, like you said, it's exactly it reminds me exactly of the Matterhorn, which is an amazing attraction as well. I don't know, that ride is so much fun. So if you ever go out to Disneyland, make sure you ride the Matterhorn because it is just too much fun. Now, let's move on here and talk about Haunted Mansion. Now, let's go. We'll start with you, Luella. Which coast? I think I know here, but which coast is your?
It's going to be very hard for me to not love Disneyland's
I know.
thing, but I love like I said, it's also placed there near the French Quarter, so it has a different facade, and I love that the Walt Disney World, the Magic Kingdom, I love that they have different facades, and it's a true elevator, so you're going down, because I think when you look and see how it's all underground, in fact, it's going under a street. It's amazing that they took advantage. There's not a lot of room at Disneyland, and it's amazing that this ride, it truly is a feat, these Imagineers, how they built this ride. So it's an actual elevator that goes down, and the whole ride is underground. So, but I love the extra room at the Magic Kingdom. I love that added feature. And I think that they really took advantage of that extra space. So,
well, we got the two rooms, the library and the staircase, which you guys don't have out there.
We have to remember, this was supposed to be a walkthrough initially.
That's true. I forgot about that.
It was not meant to be an attraction with doom buggies, which was invented by Bob Gurr. I mean, it was meant to be a walkthrow, and they realized if you make people walk, then you can't you can't they'll stay there. So that's what I love about all the things with Disneyland, is that these were the first rides, and then you can see how they kind of improved it or built on that with Magic Kingdom. But the Disneyland version is there like testing, so and all the things, and so that's what's so fun about it.
Just to have the Omnimover system, which was revolutionary for its time,
Yeah.
between Haunted Mansion and then Journey Through Inner Space. Those two attractions, to have that Omnimover system was just crazy. And what a great system. I mean, we're talking about a constantly moving
Yeah.
conveyor that keeps capacity flowing, and then has all these great unique elements of turning the seats and doing all these different things that it does, which and even just the story alone, or the lore, I guess you should say, of how the Omnimover was created with the candied apple, and that whole story with Bob Gurr and how they were holding candy apple, and they kind of designed that technology. Yeah, such a great iconic attraction. Now, I have to say though, as much as I can appreciate that we have the 2 extra rooms, I also appreciate the fact that you guys have Haunted Mansion Holiday, which is something that we don't have, which I wish we did have. I don't know if we'll ever get there.
No, you won't. You won't get it. You
But
won't get it. I don't think that
no,
was. You just have too many international tourists
yeah,
that thought they're one and done. Whereas Disneyland is a locals park, but you can come to Disneyland. I love Haunted Mansion Holiday. It just makes me giddy, and I love that we have 2 versions. Some people feel like it's too long because they want to see the original Haunted Mansion, and I get that, but it's just so unique. And like I told him, I love Garner Holt, and so I know that whole history.
yeah.
I've been to his studios, and just how it all came into fruition. So it's a lovely homage, I think, to the original, and just builds to it, and it makes you want to keep going, like not just
Exactly.
once. You want to come back and see it as this version. So
Yeah, and that's a huge deal out there. The Haunted Mansion Holiday is a massive deal. I
Nightmare
know.
Before Christmas is so popular.
Yeah.
Jack and Sally are so popular.
Yeah, it's such a great attraction out there. I do like that version. I have to, I kind of have to go with Disneyland on this one, just because of Haunted Mansion Holiday. That is a super experience. If you've never done that, it took me a while to do it, because the few times that I went out there, it either wasn't that time of the year, or they were getting it ready for Haunted Mansion Holiday. But I've done it once, and that is just awesome. Now, let's move on here to Big Thunder Mountain. Now, I tend to think, for me, I think the Magic Kingdom version is my favorite. But I can also respect the Big Thunder Mountain version as well. But I really think Magic Kingdom is my favorite. I think it's the most, for me, it's just the most intense out of the 2. But I don't know. What do you think?
I'll be honest, I don't know what the difference is. Yeah, I can't tell the difference. So that's it's probably very subtle. I don't know.
Yeah, the track is longer. It's a smoother track at Magic Kingdom, and there's a slightly longer ride time. Now, of course, you used to have better views on ours because it was right next to Rivers of America.
Oh my goodness, you're so upset about the Rivers of America.
Hey, it's fine. There'll be Jeeps there or whatever they're gonna be from cars, and obviously that's infinitely better than Tom Sawyer Island. But listen, I don't make the decision.
There's so much land there. I don't understand why they're doing that, but go figure.
Well, we gotta have all the rest of the land for Villains Land, so.
Oh, okay.
But the only big difference that I think is more of a fan favorite is the goat with the dynamite. That is a Disneyland thing. The goat with the dynamite scene. So
staring at that goat, making you dizzy. Yeah.
Yep. That is something that anyone that has gone to Disneyland before will tell you to do. Stare
Yeah.
at the goat as you're going down. So, but yeah, so that is another one there. Now let's do. There's a couple others here. Let's go into. Let's talk about Jungle Cruise.
Hmm.
So between the two,
Oh
which one
gosh,
is your
well,
favorite?
your now the extra room. I love your Jungle Cruise. I really do. It's longer.
Mhm.
It's thoughtfully done. I love your Jungle Cruise. I just enjoy the history at the Disneyland Jungle Cruise because
Of course.
that's when Walt was there. It's amazing, but I think the history that he wanted real animals.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
then and animals sleep in the daytime, and so they had uh, they made that adjustment. But all the history about the trees, if you ever get an opportunity and it's around, take the horticulture tour at Disneyland because that's always fun, and they'll
Oh, that's a cool.
yeah.
I want to do
And
that.
when
That sounds
it's not there all the time, but when you take the horticulture tour, then you get to be because I took it and I was the only one on that tour. I was alone on the Jungle Cruise boat while they're talking all about the foliage, which I love.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, so it doesn't
I
happen
like
all the
that.
time, but that's a fun thing too, to get
did
your
not
own
know that
boat
was a
on the
thing.
Jungle Cruise and learn about the trees and the plants and the history. But I love the Magic Kingdom's Jungle Cruise. That one's is way better. Way better.
I have to agree. I think I like the Magic Kingdom better. I don't know. I think I like the jokes better on our side too. I mean,
my brother was a skipper, so I'm gonna have to.
I
have
we
to
won't
like
touch that one.
about that.
We won't touch that one then.
Yeah.
All I know is the ginger snaps joke is just fantastic. Be careful because ginger snaps. I love that every time. And it's the progression of the Jungle Cruise over the years. I feel like when I was younger, people used to laugh at the jokes, and now it's not that the delivery hasn't changed. I just think that people are so used to the Jungle Cruise now that they just don't laugh as much at the jokes, but the jokes are hilarious. I'm always the one on the boat laughing for the whole boat.
Yeah.
I am totally in for the shtick. They can do it all the time, and I will be.
It's so
I will
funny.
be 100% for it. And the cool thing about I've had the privilege of being friends with a few skippers over the years, and the cool thing about skippers is they just can't turn it off. It's just like it's ingrained in them. So they do these things outside of the attraction, not just the jokes of the attraction, but they come up with their own other jokes on top of that. It's like
they're funny.
They have like a chip in their brain, because I know one of my friends, he used to be able to do the whole thing, the whole from start to finish. Like you just ask him and he'd do it, and that was the coolest thing ever. But
so are you able to get the map? Here you can get a map of the Jungle Cruise.
No, I don't think they don't have that here. No.
Okay, so that's a fun little secret. Yeah, they don't just hand it sometimes, and they don't always have it. But if ever you go, ask for a map. It's fun. It's a nice souvenir.
I will ask you. I don't. Yeah, I've never. I don't think I've ever asked for that, but I will ask and see. But I will say, I love when Jungle Cruise turns into Jingle Cruise, which is always something that I thoroughly enjoy as well. So that is another version of the ride that I really like. And I like to, I don't know if they lean into it heavily with the other on Disneyland, but they do kind of lean in on this coast into the Adventurers Club. If you don't remember that, for those who aren't really like haven't been going to Disney World for a while, Adventurers Club used to be a club that was at Pleasure Island, and they were a set of adventurers, and kind of the Jungle Cruise. It was like a whole show and bar, and it just all kinds of crazy stuff happened in there. But there was kind of like this tie-in between the Jungle Cruise and the Adventurers Club, and they were kind of like, and you can even find some stuff like in the queue that references like the Adventurers Club and things like that. So that's a nice touch on this coast as well to see that, because I mean, if you'd been to the Adventurers Club once, you would have fallen in love with it. It is absolutely amazing. Now,
Yeah, they don't really do that. I think there's little Easter eggs around, but that was never a thing here, so it wouldn't resonate.
yeah, of course, that is definitely true. Now, let's talk about. I'm trying to remember here. Hold on, 1 second here. Now let's go on to and talk about. I just had my notes up here and they just disappeared on me. Let's talk about here. Where did it go? So we've done Haunted Mansion, we've done Pirates. Now these really don't have. Let's talk about Dumbo. Between the two Dumbos on both coasts, which is your favorite?
I don't think you can really compare, because Dumbo is, I mean, they build another Dumbo,
Yeah.
like, so you have the double Dumbos, which I think really helps with the line situation. Because when you only had one, that's a ride that's really geared towards like children, and it just it's just too long a line. You know, it was too shorter. It was just too long a line to have those kids wait. So, but here we just have the one. So
Yeah,
it's the
it's
same.
totally different.
Yeah, it's the same ride facility. I don't think there's necessarily
No,
a
not
big
really too
difference
much.
between the two. So
Other than the
um,
fact that our queue is really the difference between the two, because we have the interactive or the queue with the playground built in it for the
yeah,
kids that want to run around and be crazy while they're waiting for the attraction. So yeah, that is definitely something different there. Now, let's move on to we've kind of covered most of the big ones, but let's cover one more here. And I'm gonna struggle with this one a little bit because I haven't done this yet. So let's talk about the let's compare the two Tianas. Now I can talk about my version and you can tell me about your version, but trying to compare the two, because I've seen videos of the Disneyland version, which it looks very similar. Maybe we could do like Splash Mountain.
yeah, it'd be challenging because I haven't ridden Tiana at the Magic Kingdom, but I think the biggest difference is probably, well, there's a lot of difference. The ride vehicle is a big difference. You know, the single flume versus the side by side flume.
Oh, it's true. I forgot about that. Yes,
that's a big difference. You can fit more people in one flume at Magic Kingdom, which helps with the lines and helps. But it's, if you haven't been to Knott's Berry Farm, from what I understood, the Magic Kingdom, I mean, the whole Splash Mountain was kind of inspired by the flume ride at Knott's Berry Farm. So it's very similar. The ride, everything, the ride vehicle, the dip, the mountain. If you've been to Knott's Berry Farm, which is an amusement park in this next city over, that's older than Disneyland. So
iconic.
You can see a lot of inspiration from that. And so I enjoy actually the one by one flume, because that's like reminds me of Knott's Berry Farm. So that's kind of a fun thing. And then I'm pretty sure they do the same thing. Sorry, I'm in my car as the lights go off. People are really talented with the photos. So there's a lot of photos with people take advantage of, and you can do that with, instead of the side by side, with just a single flume. But I think
Yeah.
the ride itself, I can't really
So
point out the
based
big
on,
differences, but they were always
so
fun.
so the biggest thing that I take away just from the videos that I've seen is the story pacing. The going from scene to scene seems to move a lot quicker on the Disneyland version. And I'm sure that's maybe because it's not as big as the Walt Disney World version.
Yeah, I
So
would agree.
because
Probably that's
with
it. Yeah.
with Disney with Disney World, you have a lot of things where you're like doing like another drop or whatever else, and you're not like, the story isn't as cohesive as it is in the Disneyland version, and I think that's just a space thing, but that I think that actually works in its favor because you go from scene to scene faster without
Hmm.
having these sort of filler sections. So I think that that makes a big difference when it comes to both coasts. Really, I mean, it. Of course, the ride vehicle is a big thing too, but you know, I the other thing too. I mean, not really something that's a big difference, but you know, Tiana's over here is in Frontierland versus you have it in Bayou Country over there. So that's a little difference, but realistically, um, and another thing is too, a lot of people say the Disneyland version gets you a lot wetter than the Walt Disney World version, which I tend to agree with because I think I there was a period in time when the splash mountain at Disney World would get you just absolutely soaked, and for whatever reason they toned that down, and it's been toned down ever since. And I know they
Oh,
toned it down during the colder months because they don't close the attraction unless sometimes they do a refurb, but they usually don't close the attraction. It'll be like 40 degrees out and you can ride,
yeah.
you can just keep riding. I've done it. I did it once like 6 times in a row in 40 degrees weather just because there was no line. It was like you could just stay on. So I've done that. It's not fun, but obviously they tone down the water so you don't get as soaked, so you're not just having hypothermia. And but I will say that is that for that one, mostly it's the same, other than the pacing. And I felt that way too with the Splash Mountain. The Splash Mountain felt like you were going through the scenes a lot faster, and so on and so forth. So I can completely understand that one. Now I'm trying to think here. Um, the only other thing that I can really think that we can compare, and this is going to be a hard one, because of they're doing a refurb, but Buzz Lightyear over here versus Astro Blasters. So kind of that comparison there. But I think the really only big difference, if I remember, the Disneyland version lets you lift up the blaster to shoot, to aim, and over here it's kind of like fixed to the carts up, but most of the attraction is identical.
Yeah, you need to be able to lift up that blaster.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm going to choose the one here because lifting up that blaster can get you a better score. Now, I know that in, I think, Tokyo, the different blasters have a different color, so you know which one is yours.
Oh, it's true.
That would be nice. But in general, they're quite similar. They're similar, except that I can take out the blaster versus you don't take out the blaster. So if you're getting very competitive, you want to remove that blaster and use it.
The other thing is too, the Disneyland version, which again we're getting a refurb over here, so who knows what we'll get? Maybe we'll get the
Yeah.
different colored blasters, so on and so forth. The targets are different shapes. We don't have that over here. Everything is circular. It's a circular with the Z in it, or that's what we had. You guys have circles, square, diamond, triangles, which indicate different points, which makes it easier to get higher scores because you know which targets you're looking for with that. And then of course, a lot of people say here that the Walt Disney World version, the targets are harder to see than the Disneyland version. So there is a lot of different things, between the two. But honestly, on that attraction, I don't really have an opinion on which one that I like better. I've been on both, but it's the same thing to me. Other than being able to pick up the blaster and kind of shoot, that I do remember that being a huge deal. Versus it having it affixed to the ride vehicle itself. But
Well, I think being like a local, actually, we're quite competitive. So even with yourself, I'm always trying to get a better score than my husband.
yeah,
I'm always trying to get a better score than
you're
myself.
trying to max
I'm
out.
trying to flip the score, so that
Yep.
I can get over 1,000,000. So I think that's what makes it fun. Am I sitting there looking at the ride? Maybe probably the first time, but when I'm in there, I'm like out for like blood. I want the highest score. So
Well,
that's what I'm trying to do.
I mean, that sounds like me on Toy Story, you know, on the Toy Story ride, but Midway Mania. But I get it. I get it. I'm kind of bummed that now that we're getting a refurb for Buzz Lightyear here, that I never got a perfect score, never maxed out the score here. But we'll see what the new version holds. They did um, they did a media event like a couple like 2 or 3 months ago, where they actually just set up something in the Contemporary where they were showing off what the blasters would look like for Buzz Lightyear when they reopen the attraction, and it looked pretty fun. So apparently they're supposed to be way more accurate and more fun. So we'll see what that happens there. But yeah, I'm excited for that. That is Buzz Lightyear is obviously a fun attraction. Getting to rotate your vehicle around and everything else, and just having fun with that, it is just really cool. So I think unless there are any other rides that you can think of that have a double that we could talk about. Now, we could spend all day uh, talking about how we don't have Mr. Toad's Wild Ride over here, and you guys do over there, and how that's such a sad thing. Although Winnie the Pooh is a great ride, but I still love being able to go out to Disneyland and ride Mr. Toad's and go to hell. It's always a fun attraction out there. One of my favorites. I grew up on that attraction, and now that I have to go to Disneyland to do that, it kind of stinks. But Winnie the Pooh is still a great attraction out here as well. It's a great replacement, I should say. But unless you can think of any other attractions that I might have missed that we could cover.
No, I think those are the good ones, and those are the classics. So it's always a fun discussion, and it just
Yeah,
shows that that we love our parks, and
mhm,
but we can always go to other parks and still appreciate it.
exactly. And it's also and keep in mind, a lot of these attractions, especially like Space Mountain, have versions all over the world. So you gotta go out and experience all the parks. I can, the unfortunately the one time that I went to Disneyland Paris, the Space Mountain there was not open, which is incredibly sad because that version, sort of that Jules Verne type Space Mountain, is just looks so incredible in person. And I was so mad that it was under refurb because that just looks, I can't begin to tell you the theming. Oh, it's so amazing.
Just means you got to go back.
It just means that I gotta go back. Yes, and I'm sure that'll happen one day. But I think that's gonna do it for this week's show. We want to thank everyone who joined us live this week. We absolutely loved that you were a part of our show. Tell us what you like. Let us know what you like. What are your favorite things? What do you like, Disneyland versus Disney World? Leave a note in the comments. Comment on this video on YouTube. Comment on our Facebook page. Let us know what you like, because we want to hear from you. And we love you guys for joining us every week. And of course, you can do that yourself if you're listening on the podcast, hi, how you doing? Thanks for joining us this week. We appreciate you too. But if you'd like to watch this live and see my wonderfully charming face, um, no, and we're not guaranteeing that it's wonderfully charming, but I'll say that. But if you want to see that and see all the rest of this wonderful cast here on this show, join us every week on YouTube on the Disney and Beyond YouTube channel. You can join us live on Twitch on just search up Mouse Minds, and you can find us on Facebook on the Mouse Mind Facebook page as well. But as I always say every week before we end the show, if you can dream it, you can do it. So go out there and dream and do it this week. Now, before we go, Luella, did you have anything else that you wanted to add before we wrap up the show?
No, just enjoy the parks and leave a comment and tell us what you like.
Absolutely. Leave a comment. Tell us what you like. If there's something that you like from a different park, whether that be Paris, Tokyo, you name it, leave those comments. Let us know what your favorite version of your favorite attraction is, and we will be more than happy to check our comment back with you and interact with you on that. So that being said, I think that is going to do it for this week's show. We love all of you guys. Thank you for joining us. As always, you can find us every week at 8:30 on our YouTube channel, Disney and Beyond, and on the Twitch under Mouse Minds, and then of course on our Facebook page under Mouse Minds as well. And of course at 5 p.m. every Friday on all your favorite podcasting platforms, whatever that may be. We will be there. That's going to do it for this week's show. I thank you guys for joining us, and we are going to say goodbye now. So thank you guys, and have a great rest of your week. And I'm going to hear some music.